How does psycholinguistics explain language in the mind? Imagine trying to understand a conversation in a busy cafe. Your brain is working fast to recognize sounds, figure out words, and grasp the meaning, all in a split second. That's what psycholinguistics studies. It looks at how our mind processes language and how it keeps all the pieces together. This field combines ideas from linguistics, psychology, neuroscience, and cognitive science to see how language functions inside our brains. At its heart, psycholinguistics explores how we store and handle different parts of language. For example, it examines how we recognize sounds called phonemes, which are the building blocks of words. It also studies morphology, which is how words are formed from smaller units like prefixes and suffixes. Syntax is about how words are arranged into sentences, and semantics focuses on the meanings of words and sentences. Pragmatics looks at how context influences what we understand when we communicate. When you hear a sentence, your brain quickly processes all these elements, sounds, words, and meaning, to make sense of what is being said. Psycholinguists are interested in mental representations of language, often called mental grammars. These are internal sets of rules and knowledge that help us produce and understand language. Think of mental grammars as the personal rulebooks inside our minds that tell us how to turn sounds into words and words into sentences. They help us recognize patterns and apply rules naturally, without needing to think about each step consciously. Researchers use experiments to understand how fast and accurately people recognize words or understand sentences. For example, they might measure how quickly someone can identify a word after hearing it, or how long it takes to read a sentence. Techniques like eye tracking during reading or listening tests reveal how attention shifts and how our brain processes language in real time. The field also looks at how children and adults learn language. It studies how the brain develops the ability to use phonology, syntax, morphology, semantics, and pragmatics effectively. This includes understanding how we pick up language from our environment and how our brain adapts to new words and rules over time. In simple terms, psycholinguistics explains language in the mind as a set of mental processes and internal representations that make it possible for us to learn, understand, and produce language. It sees language as both a psychological activity and a biological function rooted in how our brain works. So, every time you speak, listen, or read, your brain is actively working behind the scenes to make sense of it all.